Hello, and welcome to another episode of Future Innovators STEM DIY projects of kits that we've basically purchased off Amazon. Links will be in the bio to where if you would like to join on this, you can always add these, add us on social media channels, Twitter, follow us on YouTube to be able to find the links for these here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this set up. This one is the model of the Earth, Moon, and Sun. Since I forgot to say that earlier. I'm just basically setting out all the parts that we'll need. Go ahead and have it laid out here. Some of the markers and basically what's going to be the planets will be sitting up towards the top. There's one of the planets, the larger one is already rolled up here. And so that way it's less awkward for me while doing the demonstration. I always put music in. Helps me kind of just understand that sometimes silence is needed. Alright. So what I want to do is I'm going to basically just be taking a glance at this, taking a look at all the parts. Go ahead and get these took out, kind of keeping them in their own spots. I will definitely be careful trying to pop that out. One thing I always recommend is watch this through the first time and then go to build it, just in case, you know, like on previous ones, I've kind of done them at a steps here and there. Pictures aren't always the best ones to try and follow, which is why I also do this. Wow, that one's definitely interesting. This part right here, there's a fine point you need to make sure you don't break off. This one looks like a penguin. Honestly, it looks like a penguin. So some of the ones, oh, there's another one that was looking like a penguin. So a lot of these are kind of simple. This is just something that, you know, any age can really do. I mean, of course, younger than, you know, 3 or 4 is a little bit different. I've done more complex projects with a kindergarten to where we built a battle bot. So it's honestly something easily could be done with the right guidance. See here, so this one, it does show that everything's already took apart on that one. Just kind of double checking. I want to be very careful to make sure to not mess up any of the grooves. And on this one, I'm going to use a screwdriver just to kind of help. Basically the smaller parts, just poking them through gently. So kind of like, just because these things seem to be very, very fragile. Sometimes I try to edit out the parts to where there's just basically me doing this. Not all the time. The one video I still need to edit is a 3-day long assembly of the 3D printer. I don't know if it's up by the time I've posted this one. I can't recall, honestly, if I've already edited it. I'm basically taking out a lot of the short parts, or shorten it down to parts to where there's not a long wait. The 3D printer was definitely a very complex one. Luckily, my buddy Jerry with Real Life Unboxing had already built this printer as well as 3 others, and has now learned how to repair them. So definitely a huge shout out to him on helping on those parts. And it seems like all the parts on that are already took apart, so let's just go ahead and get this finished up right here. I've yet to figure out what I can do with this scrap wood. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if that's actually a part. Guess we'll find out. Who honestly knows? Either way, that actually might be a part that can turn into something cool. Alright, so first step, it has us putting this together, apparently. And on this one, it seems simple. Just popping these together. Always check through the back, see if it's wiggled. Be very careful with those. They can easily snap. I always like to try and reinforce the back a little bit. Doesn't really say which way to face it, but I'm gonna go with an assuming whichever lines up best with that. Well, that's interesting. So on this one, I'm kind of curious. It shows it kind of towards down first. Kind of confused because of this part. So I'm guessing on this one we just line it up. Doesn't, I see, okay. So now we're gonna be taking these smaller ones here and putting them in here. So like so. Making sure that all that stays lined up. Make sure that they're all lined up well. And it looks like on the back side of this, we'll be putting says number 6. Okay, inserter plate. Number 6 on 2 number 1 plates. Number 1 plates are the battery. Still confused as of to what exactly is the plan for that. Right. Shows that one plate going upwards. So okay. So it looks like it's going to go over a knob there. And then we're going to take it and pop it through. Be easy and careful. That's what that's there, so keep that space. And then the black wire will go in. So that's how you know how to make sure this is the right way, is you want this part to be facing upwards. It's another reason. Well, it's interesting. There we go. I want that to be facing up. Well, it's not really a way to do that. Maybe just already pre-wire the wiring. I'll just go with that. So on there, all we're gonna do is just take it, black on the right. This part's always a little bit more difficult. It's getting all the thin wires through it. So I'm just gonna rewind this so I found a good one. I'm trying to get this through here, so it's a little bit harder. Sometimes I'll lift it up. Try and twist it, see if that helps. It does help. So now it's just all about wrapping the wire. Sometimes I use like really light Scotch tape or masking tape, just so that way it's not as, it doesn't stick as much. To where if it's, say I need to double check the wiring or take it apart, it's kind of just a better way I found to hold it with the masking tape. Try to get this through, get it to stick. Now we'll see if this part, or this video in general, enters a potential multiverse. The reason I say that is we are doing the Moon, Earth, and Sun project, and a historical moment yesterday happened where they fired up CERN. So that's definitely a pretty interesting concept itself, and originally my plan was to do this that day, but I didn't get to. I kind of just had other plans, I guess you could say. Now we're just getting on to the red one. Just trying to get that one through now. Once I do that, I will add some masking tape. It's just an easier way, again, to have it held. These wires are a little difficult to try and get through and then wrap around and stay. I recommend just setting it flat sometimes, and just working it to the best of your ability. Sometimes using a screwdriver to kind of bend the wire how you need it is helpful also. Something about this one's just a little bit more difficult than prior ones. I don't know if it's the wiring or just how the extra black plastic piece is on there. So now I'm just going to kind of mash it against it and see what I can do once I get that done. I'm just going to take some masking tape to help hold it. This is my one way of ensuring that it's easier to make sure and double check, or basically try and go and fix it, but it's just a better situation and overall in general. Once more, just placing that in there, lightly holding both sides, and then now looks like we're moving to these. These will be placing out. Again, be gentle when pressing these. As you can hear, I don't think that one broke, but I have had other projects to where it has broke. It did make it difficult. Shockingly, this one doesn't involve many screws. Typically, I'm used to screwing these parts in. This one you'll definitely want to be careful with, just because of the pressure that will be applied on the pegs. Once again, a more complex. This one's now shaping it to fit while keeping the others popped in place. And they do come out very, very easily. One time, honestly, I wouldn't mind doing the screws. Gotta be very, very careful with that. I mentioned wood glue before, but didn't see it on this part. So now I'm gonna be flipping this over and just giving it a light pat. And it looks like the first part is going to be going on there. So put the 9-pin pinion. And either potentially, all right, I've misplaced this one. Where as always, something's just going on. So it looks like that one, but it's pointed. That's the only one, size-wise, that's gonna go there. Or 10, and just kind of reference back over to these parts here, just because this is one that's very more in-depth. Put the item 10 ring piece. Looks like a solid circle, but don't really see just a solid circle. I just mentioned the rod, you can barely see it there. Well then, once again, be careful when applying pressure. As you can tell, it's very simple to mess up. So, in my opinion, if you've watched this through before doing it, do this first. It's going to make it a much better ability. Granted, this piece does not like to stay on. Kind of got to squeeze it to the top. Or just not hold it in any direction, and it's going to fall out. Like so. And that's what these videos are for, to help provide an easier option for building these. And so, just putting all this back together. Not for sure if that is wood glue, but I assume that it is. Not for sure. Potentially I should have already been using this. I don't really see any of it listed on there. All right. Well, now I've misplaced the piece. Well, let's pause this. So now we've got to find the round piece. I don't recall seeing. The only round piece I could think of is that one. All right. Next step. And then it looks like we're taking this, sticking it up this way. So like so. Like so. Well, I can hold it a bit better. And then taking one of the, well, I guess this way looks like this one looks like a rocket ship. So is this one going on the larger one? I guess I just repeat it. if I can get this one to go through. This one, be careful. It's a little bit more of a making sure it lines up. Kind of got to work it in corner by corner. And just kind of just apply pressure as needed. That is extremely cool. Oh, I messed up on that one. On the larger one, you actually do that. That would make sense of why it didn't line up as easily as I thought it would. Piece. A small piece, in fact. Here it is. So some of these are more difficult. Now this one shows piece 12. Piece 12 is the smaller one. So I'm correct in thinking I would be doing this. So I'll take this and apply it just a little bit. This just doesn't want to work. I don't think there's another option. So it shows it go flat. This one is flat, but not a very confident filling for it being fully in there. So then we're taking this, it seems like at the point, we're going to line it here. Then this one will line like so. Or at least I thought. Yeah, it doesn't just easily go over. The picture shows. So either it's because I've used the wrong piece of this. See here. Okay. Potentially just didn't make this one large enough. Only thing else I can think would be this. Well, that works out. Yeah, that one works out a lot better. So it's the one that looks like this. It goes on the top, not the flat one. Which this thing goes over perfectly. Trying to just mimic getting this back in there. Sure. These are all lined up really well for rotation. All right. What in the world? 17. Oh, okay. This one's definitely interesting. It's kind of cool. It's pretty neat. And then we're going to take the, guessing the penguin looking thing. And basically face him opposite of the point, it looks like. So you may need to rotate. All right. And it looks like we'll be setting this just like so. Lining these up. Let's see why this isn't working. I don't know if it's because of everything being constructed together now or not, but I guess we can find out. Without coloring these, just going to kind of pop. Oh, there we go. See exactly why I said be careful. And this thing does not like me too well. Now I've potentially skipped a lot of the steps that I may have glued these on, but I am just trying to ensure that I can do this and test out all the kinks. Right now I'm just kind of working magic, lining everything up from underneath. Like so. Haven't got to the part to test it out yet. All right. Looks like, make sure you kind of support it if you go to do what I done. Oops, there we go. Okay. Larger planet. Looks like, oh, can't forget this. That's why it was looking weird. Interesting. Very easily done. Now, batteries. We'll get to test this out. Always like to take that off the back so that it doesn't fire up before you're ready. Very interesting in project here. Was not expecting nearly the style. All right. Wow. Moves faster than I thought it would. Definitely check it out. This thing's got some speed on it. All constructed out of wooden parts, no screws. Probably could have painted this and made it look better. So we'll pause it here.